Right, guys, let's have a look at this third part. Now, um, yeah, I'm just going to point out that, no, okay, we'll come back to something I'm not too happy with when I looked at the marking schedule for this question here. So I think it's not complete what they've done in the marking schedule. All right, so this is saying find the values of k for which these two functions here intersect exactly 2 points. Now, function h is basically this cosine graph, but you can move it up and down. Okay, so we can move it up and down. Okay, and where would this cosine graph intersect at exactly just 2 points? Not more than 2, but just 2. Okay, and not less than 2, obviously, as well. So if you think about moving this graph up, maybe if the graph was up here, okay, then coming back down here, so here, that would be like where it would be intersecting just a couple of points. And okay, now it's a lot easier to visualize that with Desmos, so I'm going to do that. So let me move this. Actually, I'm just going to change that y-axis as well. Let's just go from -3 to +3. Maybe make that a little bit larger. Okay. All right, so if we take these k values here, now if we have, I'm just going to focus on this this region up here. So notice that when this cosine graph touches here, and then if you increase k, so for around about 1.7, and if we keep increasing k, notice that the graphs are only intersecting twice, but basically with k values that are more than 1.7, up to this point about here, where k is about 4.5, so k looks like it has to be between that 1.7 and 4.5. So basically from that point upwards, we're not intersecting at all, and just below that k value of 4.5, we're intersecting twice again. So basically between this point of intersection here and this point of intersection here, the k values for that. Now there's also, however, I want to point out this down here. Notice that these two graphs are intersecting twice here. Okay, and it basically starts from this point of intersection here where k is about -4.5, and if we keep going up, so k greater than -4.5, we reach this point about there. Okay, so this basically, we've got one point intersection here and another one here, so still 2. Okay, but if we keep going up a little bit more, okay, over here we've got another point of intersection, so we've now got 1, 2, and there'll be another point of intersection over here somewhere off that end, so that wouldn't count as being, at least I don't think so, where you've got 2 points of intersection, and definitely when you get up to here, you start getting far more than 2, you get 4. Now, I'm going to point out this. In the marking schedule for the scholarship exam for this year, we have taken this question from, they only consider the k values between here, what happened there? Okay, the k values from there to there, which is, I don't think, fully correct. So I think they're missing out these values basically where k starts here, about -4.5, and keeps going up until we get to there. So let's get, where are we? Stop it. Okay, let's get these answers from here to here, and then we'll have a talk about how we could also include this down here. All right, so how do we do that? Well, think about it. We want to know where this point of intersection is here. Now, we got this from in question A. Okay, we got the point of intersection there. Okay, and the other point of intersection we also know, okay, is this one here. We actually know that as well from A. So let's have a look at that and then consider the K values. Right, so let's head back over to this here. Right, so I'm going to get a new page. So this is question 3, part C. Okay, so I'm just going to head back to here for a moment. Sorry. Just want to point out one other thing. This is when this x value here is around about 0.9, so roughly there. And the other x value I'm going to focus on here for a moment is this one here, which is roughly 3.8. Now, if you think back or look back at your answers for A, you've actually got those two numbers already. So that's when the gradients of the two graphs were equal. Okay, and the other one that I'm going to include in our answer is this one down here where the gradients were equal as well. This is around about 5.6 roughly. Okay, so let's go back to our working here. So let's call this part 1 or part A of this question. So we want the K values between x is approximately equal to, what was it again, 0.9, and x approximately equal to 3.8. And that was when the gradient of function h was equal to the gradient of function f, and that was this -2 sine x was equal to 6 cos 2x. Now, from part A of this question, we get x is equal to 0.9195 and x is equal to 3.8214. That was part A of that question. So what we can do is we can then calculate the K values that fit this information. So if x is that first 0.9195, we get y is equal to 3 times the sine of 2 times that 0.9195, which gives a y value equal to 2.8927. Okay, and then if we then substitute this into function h, okay, that's going to give 2.8927 because they have the same y value at that point of intersection, is equal to k plus 2 times the cosine of x, which is that 0.9195. And if you solve for k, you end up with k being equal to 1.68. Okay, so that's 1k value. Okay, and then if we take the other point of intersection, we end up with y being equal to this. That gives a y value of 2.9334. Okay, and if we sub into h again, we end up with this 2.9334 equal to k plus 2 times the cosine of that x value, and that gives k is equal to 4.49. So one region where we have 2 points of intersection is when k is more than 1.68 and less than 4.49. And that again would be, I'll just head back to here, okay, that's going to be up here. So notice that we got that value 1.68 for k, so approximately 1.7 here, and we've got 2 points of intersection. And if we keep going up, notice how k is increasing there until we get to this point where, okay, after this point here, or at that point there, we only have 1 point of intersection, that was 4.5, okay, and in our working, that was 4.49, okay, so that's what that's talking about. Okay, so this is what the marking schedule in the scholarship marking schedule for this year gave. Now, as I said, I'm not totally happy with that because I think there are other points between 0 and 2 pi where we also have 2 points of intersection, and that is when this x value here ran about 5.6 and k is about 4.5. And then we're going to keep increasing k until we get to there. Okay, so after that, I think we've then got 3 points of intersection. Okay, I suppose if we ignore the fact that x has to be between 0 and 2 pi, so I'm not totally happy with this still. But if we did include that, we'd have to find this point of intersection here. Okay, and do exactly the same thing as we were doing a moment ago. So we want the k values less than negative 4.5 up until x is equal to 2 pi. Okay, and y would be 0. So let's add that bit into our answer. So I'm going to head back over to here. Right, so we need another page. Go away. Okay. All right, let's clear that one. All right, so this is when we have an x value equal to, and I'm just going back to our work for A on this. And this was 5.6033, I think it is. So that's going to give a y value, so y would equal 3 times the sine of 2 times that. So what's that going to give? Let's have a look. So sine of 2 times 5.6033. Okay, and then times that by 3. So that's going to be negative 2.9334, say. Okay, and then we need to substitute that into function h. So into function h, the y value would be this, equal to k plus 2 times the cosine of that x value. So let's get 2 times the cosine of that 5.6033. Okay, and then I'm going to take that to the other side. So negative 2.9334 minus that previous answer. We've got a K value equal to negative 4.49. And then we're going to go until the Y value, or sorry, X is equal to 2 pi. And we can see from the graph that Y would equal 0. Okay, so we don't need to do this calculation up here. We can just read it from the graph. Okay, and so that's going to give 0 is equal to K plus 2 cos 2 pi. Cosine of 2 pi, of course that's 1. Okay, so it's going to be 2 times 1, so K would equal negative 2. So I think another part is going to be when K is greater than negative 4.49 and less than negative 2. That would be another region when we're going to have 2 points intersection only. Alright, so yeah, be interested to see what you guys think about that last part, which wasn't given in the marking schedule for that year for the scholarship exam. Alright folks, we'll catch you in the next one.